Hi ladies, how are you? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming. God bless you. We're doing Parashat Vayetze, and I wanted to ask you a question. Why do you think the war in Gaza started just now, over a month ago?
שנאת אחים. כל מה שבקר וכיפור לא נתנו להתפלל, לא נתנו זה.
So I would like to speak about, well, I titled this shiur, The Hidden Enemy, and we're going to speak about very important issues in this parasha. 3 oxes ran away from a zoo. Oxes. And came to a forest, and over there they were grazing. It was such a nice grass there. They really liked the atmosphere, the quiet, the fresh food, and whatever. A few days later, a big lion, they heard a roar, and the lion wanted to eat them up, but there were 3 of them. And an ox is a big animal. They were able to chase the lion away.
Wow.
Oh Hashem. Then the fox saw it, and the sly fox wanted to take advantage. So he approached the oxes in a very nice, sneaky way, pleasant way, nice way. And he tells them, you just heard the lion. And the lion, I see that there were 3 colors, the animals were 3 colors. Well, there was one black ox, there was one white one, and then there was one reddish one, red. So he tells them the white ox sticks out. And this is why, it stands out, the color. This is why the lion spotted him. My suggestion, it's up to you, you do whatever you want, but I think you better separate so that you do not endanger the other ones. And he left. The oxes were thinking and talking. They were friends. Didn't feel comfortable to do that, but they had no choice. And they asked the white ox to leave them. Sadly, he left them, and after a few hours, the lion ate him up, right? What did the fox do? The lion ate the main thing, but there were a lot of leftovers. So he went, and he started to enjoy this food. It was tasty, it was a lot, he felt satisfied, he felt good. That was his plan. After a few days, he got hungry again. So he went back to the oxes who were grazing there and told them, you heard what happened, that the lion is coming again. I think that the red ox, is very, takes a lot of attention over here. So better maybe you separate. It's not a good idea. You can endanger the black one. And again, exactly the same happened. He went sadly outside, and the lion was able to attack him and eat him up. Of course, the fox came and enjoyed the leftovers of the second ox too. And then it was not a problem for the lion to overcome the 3rd ox, because now he's all alone. So he ate him up. And of course, the fox enjoyed the leftovers, and and that was his plan, and he succeeded in his plan. Why do I tell you all this today? You could see yourself that whenever they were together, no one, no enemy, no animal, no fierce animal or wild animal could overcome them. But once they were divided, they were separated, no strength anymore, right? So this is what we're talking about. Lavan Yaakov leaves the house of his parents and go to Lavan now. back to Haran to find a wife there, you know. Who does he come to? To Lavan. Who is Lavan? Lavan, well, became his father-in-law. Lavan was a cheater, we know. His name was Lavan Ramai. He was a cheater. He was a con man. It was his profession. He knew what is he doing. See how is he trying? How he's going to try now to con, to deceive, to cheat on Yaakov again and again and again, over and over and again. So what do we know about Lavan? Number one big thing that we know about him, that he was greedy, very much greedy. Yeah. If you remember when Eliezer years ago came to ask his father Rivka to get married to Yitzchak, he came with camels, he came with jewelries, a lot of gifts, presents for the bride. Eliezer remembered that. So he ran. Over there it was just the messenger. Now it's the groom himself that's coming. Okay, Yaakov, probably he's going to have so much. When he saw that Yaakov didn't have nothing, because on the way Eliphaz came and robbed him, you know. So he started hugging him. Okay, maybe from the outside I don't see anything, but maybe he came with some jewelries, with some diamonds that are small, and you know, you can't really see. Maybe he has something in the pocket, so he's trying to hug him, to embrace him, to see. Maybe he feels something. He didn't feel anything. So then he kissed him. Maybe, I don't know who keeps diamond in his mouth, but maybe he has something in his mouth. He didn't feel anything. He didn't know what to do with him. He says, okay, maybe I'll bring him over to my house and I'll open him up slowly. Tell me where his treasures are. So he invited him over. But when he realized that Yaakov came penniless, empty-handed, nothing there, he didn't know what to do with him. So then they start, negotiating, and Lavan tells him, so how, what do you want? You want to work here? You want to provide? What do you want to do? So Yaakov saw Rachel, yeah, and he knows that this is his luck, this is his mazal, this is his basher. She was a little girl by that time. He told him, I will work for her 7 years, right? But he made an agreement, okay? Berachel bitcha ktana. Don't give me another Rachel from the market. Don't exchange me, give me somebody else. Don't, you little daughter, you small one, the younger one. And he was very specific with what he said. And Lavan didn't even argue with him. You know why? Because he didn't care to make his part of the plan, to agree to it anyway.
He want to reveal.
He didn't care to be if there is a contract and you agree on something, so both sides agree, but he didn't even care to fulfill his part of the contract. He didn't argue with him 7 years, maybe 10, maybe less, maybe he didn't negotiate, whatever he said. And then we see that when 7 years passed, he didn't bother giving Rachel to Yaakov. Yaakov had to go and to remind him and to make a whole big deal. And then, okay, now he said, okay, let me think about this. See how manipulative was this Lavan. Now he's supposed to do a wedding. Should he pay the expenses out of his own pocket? He's greedy, I told you. He won't do that. So what did he do? He called for a meeting for all the people town in his Haran, in his city. And he told them, you know something? I have a bad news for you. What's the bad news? You know, since Yaakov came to live here in Haran, you realized that we're very, very blessed. Before that, we used to have a drought for many, many years. This is the reason, by the way, that they used to put a huge stone, a huge rock on top of the well, so that other people, because they don't have so much water, so all the other people want still water They had to wait until all of them get together, all these shepherds, okay? And together they roll this stone out of the well. They give the water. They want to see how much everyone gives. And this is how they used to do each and every time. But from the time that Yaakov came to town, the water started to raise up towards them. And it filled up all the fields and all, it watered everywhere. And all of a sudden they started to have so much abundance. Financially, they became rich, the people, not only Lavan. Also the people of the town became rich. He said, you know something? If now I'll give Yaakov, my daughter, he's going to move away. And we're going to become poor again. And what's going to happen? So they asked him, what should we do? He suggested, I have a suggestion, but you have to promise me that you're not going to reveal it to Yaakov. Of course, we want to reveal. I need a proof that I can trust you. What proof? Give me the most important collateral that you have at home, whether it's a garment or something. Give me something, the most important thing, and with this I'll know that I could trust you. So yeah, all these people brought either special pots or pans or linens or clothing or jewelry or money or anything, and with that,
trousseau.
with all this,
Trousseau.
yeah, with all this he went and he bought the expenses for the wedding. Or they invited catering, he invited he bought stuff and whatever. He didn't pay anything from his own pocket. He made all the people town pay for the expenses of the wedding. This is was his profession.
Wow.
So then, additionally to this, he made sure that that night of the wedding, all the lights should turn off, should be dark. Why? Because of modesty purposes. We in our town, it's not appropriate when a groom, he meets his bride, and it's in public in front of everyone, we darken the room so no one will see. Of course, the idea was he didn't want Yosef, he didn't want Yaakov to see Rachel. And this is when he put Leah instead of Rachel. Okay? A guy works for you for 7 years with so much devotion, with faithfully he works for you. He goes and he exchanges it with his other daughter. Okay, even though specifically he told him, I don't want no other one, I want this one. So in the morning when he realized that it's not the bride, of course he got upset, but what can he do? He knew that Lavan is a cheater. So Lavan tells him, I'm sorry, it's not my fault, it's the town people's fault. You know, we don't give the younger before we give the older. First
so
older.
Leah was older than Rachel?
Leah was older than Rachel.
Okay.
So what now? So now work another 7 years. So you see that his plan is working out. Another 7 years. What can he do? Yaakov, he said, okay. מלא שבועה הזאת, it says all this week 7 ברכות for Leah. After a week I'll give you Rachel, and then you're going to work another 7 years. Okay? So that's what happened. He worked another 7 years. Okay? And after that, Lavan continued cheating on him again and again. He changed the contract every second. He changed his salary every second. He changed constantly. Wanted to break down Yaakov. Okay, that was his plan. Now, we know also that Lavan, he was a very controlling head of the family. He was a controlling person. He controlled aggressively his household people in the house. He felt that his married daughters are his possession, okay, are his. Even though, he gave him a lot of money for that, Yaakov. He paid so expensive for getting married to his daughters. But again, his greed, he didn't finish there. He was so ungrateful to Yaakov because I told you, he got so much blessing from Yaakov. and he didn't have children. He didn't have boys till Yaakov came. He didn't have boys, and in a very, very old age. You know how old was Lavan when Yaakov came to him? He was close to 100 years old.
Wow.
Think about this. Years ago, Eliezer came to take Lavan. He was a young lad at that time. For 20 years, she was barren, Rivka. Then Yaakov and Esau were born. When Yaakov got the blessings, he was around 60-something years old. So it's already 80 years. And then for 40 years, after he left his parents, he went to learn in a yeshiva. So he was 80-something, Yaakov, when he got there. Think how old was Lavan already. So he got boys, he got sons, which is very important. And he became a very important person in Haran. He became very, very wealthy because of Yaakov. Till Yaakov came, he lived in poverty. And so this is what happened, yeah? Lavan was this person that worshipped idols, and we know that, again, he was a very big manipulator. When Eliezer came with all his camels and all his gifts, he said, I'll remove all the idols from my house because I want you to feel comfortable over here. When Yaakov came penniless, he didn't remove anything because why should I respect you? You don't have anything anyway. Okay? And so he plays around. He sees who's around him. And he plays accordingly. So now I want to give you a story, an example, and see if this is the case between Yaakov and Lavan. A man came to town. He was strange to the town. He came first time to the place, and there was this con man that was looking for a victim, and he saw him. He saw that he's a stranger in town. So he came to him and started to talk to him. Where are you coming from? And I looked. You look familiar. He told him, I'm coming from this and this town. My name is this and that. Oh, I know your father. I was his old friend. I missed him so much. How is he doing? And he started to talk to him, and he flatters to him, and he's this and he's that. And then he tells him, listen, I must take you to a very, very fancy restaurant. I see that you're hungry. I want to invite you because of my old friendship with your father. And please, this man didn't know where is he coming from. He felt so lucky. He said, okay, fine, let's go. And they came to the restaurant. Meanwhile, okay, this con man went to the restaurant, to the owner, and secretly told him, this is my boss. My boss came to town and he's very, very hungry. He didn't eat for the whole day. Please give us a nice meal, few courses, expensive food. He's going to pay for everything, don't worry. Okay, so they start ordering the stuff, and he's ordering for him, first course, second course, this fish, this chicken, this soup, this, that, even the dessert, everything is expensive, okay? And the guy feels happy, food is so good, and he's eating, and he's enjoying. In the end of the meal, after the dessert, the guy tells him, I need to go to the restroom. He went to the restroom. He told, meanwhile, to the restaurant owner, he told him, I'm going to get the limousine from the parking, give my boss the bill, he's going to pay for everything. And he left. Wow. He ran away. Okay? Now the owner comes to him, gives him the bill, and he sees the bill. He was shocked. What is this amount? Where is it coming from? So many hundreds of dollars? And he tells him, well, you ordered, you have to pay. I didn't order it. It's the one that invited me over, he ordered it. No, he left already. You have to pay. Right? So he made him pay for something that, Is this what happened between Yaakov and Lavan? Do you think that Lavan was such a cheater that he was a cheater, but he was able to deceive Yaakov in such a way that Yaakov was naive and stupid and didn't know, and he made the contract and he deceived him again and again? No. Because even though Lavan was a cheater, but Hashem was with Yaakov. And see how Yaakov came out of the house of Lavan wealthy, okay, a head of a huge family, Baruch Hashem, and was able to leave the house and came back to Israel. So now I want to tell you how Chazal looks at Lavan. Lavan is not a simple person. Lavan is not just a cheater. Lavan is much more than that. It looks like Lavan is not like Esau. Esau is real an enemy that really hates, right? And he's dangerous. Or Paro is dangerous to the Jews. Lavan, big deal. So he just wanted to cheat a little bit here. He wanted to be some rich. No. I'll tell you what it says about Lavan. Yaakov himself testifies to Esau. He will meet him in the next parasha. He tells him, עם לבן גרתי, ותרי"ג מצוות שמרתי. עם לבן גרתי, I lived with Lavan the cheater, okay? Garti, the same letters of Taryag. Taryag is 613 mitzvot. I was able to live with him and still fulfill all the Torah. He wasn't able to take anything from me, even though it wasn't possible to do it in Aram, in that place, right? It wasn't possible to keep the mitzvot over there, but he wasn't able to touch me. This is what Yaakov testified himself about him living in Lavan's house. So look at what it says in the Haggadah Shel Pesach. In the Haggadah Shel Pesach, when we read the Haggadah in Pesach, the Leil HaSeder, we say, צא ולמד. מה ביקש לבן הארמי לעשות ליעקב אבינו? What did he want to do with יעקב אבינו? שפרעה הרשע לא גזר אלא על הזכרים. He had a decree only on the male. He wanted to kill the male. ולבן ביקש לעקור את הכל. לבן wanted to uproot everything. Okay? שנאמר ארמי עובד אבי. What is this? They say that Lavan was worse than Paro. Paro wanted just to kill the male. And Lavan wanted to uproot everything. How can you say such a thing? Paro killed hundreds of children every day, after another of little babies every day. He was the most cruel person, brutal person. Wanted to bathe in the blood of the children for his skin. He had some kind of a disease. They say it's going to make the skin better, something like that. Can you understand this cruelty? Besides how he enslaved the Jews, how he made them work, he killed millions of Jewish people back in Egypt. How can you say that Lavan was worse than him? Lavan didn't kill anyone. Okay, so they say something like that. Rabbi Bachya קרא ללבן מלובן ברשע. He was so much involved in evilness, and in some place they call him Kamuel. Who was Kamuel? When it speaks about Rivka, which family she came from, it says את עוץ בכורו ואת בוז אחיו ואת כמואל אבי ארם. Kamuel is the father of Aram, and the rabbi say, הוא לבן, הוא כמואל, שקם על אומתו של אל. That he wanted to destroy the enemy of, he is the enemy. He wants to destroy the nation of Hashem. Okay? The Jewish people. Lavan was the first anti-Semite person, because all his intention was to harm and the Jewish people and whatever they represent. And let's see how he was so seriously dangerous to Yaakov, and how Yaakov was able to defeat him. We see that there's a link between Lavan and Bil'am. You know who was Bil'am? In Sefer Bamidbar, there was this king Balak that called Bilam. He was a big magician and a sorcerer.
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 So,
Yeah.
and he wanted to curse. He wanted to curse Am Yisrael. נכון? Now this Bilam was the grandson, great son of Lavan.
Oh,
Same person. The rabbis, they put him together. Lavan ben Beor, Avi Bilam, and what was so wrong with the same way that Bilam wanted to curse Am Yisrael, he was trying to finish whatever Lavan started, basically, this Bilam, yeah? מה זה לבן ביקש לעקור את הכל? He wanted to make all of them the sons of Lavan. He wanted to take the kids of Paro, kids of Yaakov, and to make him his kids. Not the Jewish people anymore, but people of Aram, people of his hometown. To have, but again, in a pleasant way, in a smile, you know. The rabbis, they call him Malbin et HaNevelot. There's a game in the letters in Hebrew now. Lavan, what is Lavan in Hebrew? White. He was white, but inside he was the blackest black that could be. They called him Lavan, בלשון סגי נהור, כאילו לבן. And he wanted to whiten the carcasses, you know, nevela, a dead animal. Wanted to make it kosher, ככה. In the way that he was doing certain things. But Yaakov didn't let him. Yaakov didn't let him to possess his own children, to make him his. Yaakov didn't let. Yaakov insisted that he should have his own spiritual freedom. Lavan wanted to enslave Yaakov. You're mine, my kids are mine, your daughters are mine, everything is mine. You're going to go according to what I tell you what to do. This is how controlling person he was. Yaakov didn't let it happen. Lavan didn't really lie to Yaakov openly, right? And everything that Yaakov asked him, he had an answer for every question, okay? It's not of me, it's because of this, it's because of that, whatever stupid answers that he answered. But again, the definition, who we are and where do we belong, affects so much our essence. So Yaakov was stubborn in a way, consistent. Yaakov, the word Yaakov is consistent. It's consistency. Ikviyut, okay? And he didn't let Lavan overcome him. Now, Paro, king of Egypt, he had his final solution for the Jews. He wanted to annihilate the male, and his plan was the girls should get married to Egyptian boys, okay? And this is how I'm going to change the core of Judaism, and they will become part of us, and this is what was Paro's plan. How would he do that? He knew that the Jewish people, if they're going to be very, very busy, if he's going to enslave them with very hard labor, this is when they won't be able to multiply. And that's exactly what Lavan was doing too. He enslaved Yaakov so much. Yaakov himself said that he was in the field day and night. He had to be there all the time. Meanwhile, he was in the field working so much devotion. His father-in-law for his father-in-law. The father-in-law was home with the kids. He wanted to influence on the kids, his own way. But when Yaakov realized what was happening, he put a stop to it. He said that he doesn't want this to happen anymore. So basically, again, he wanted him to work very, very hard also, okay, so that he won't think about multiplying. But what happened? Eventually, it's because of Lavan that he got all his wives, Rachel, Leah, Zilpah, Bilhah. He had 11 kids over there, all right? And he became wealthy also because Hashem was with him, yeah. But so basically he wasn't able to do anything. Now a house, Lavan wanted to prevent him to build the house of Israel. Think about this: a house has walls. The idea of walls in the house is to have some intimacy in the house, to have some privacy in the house. His offspring, Lavan's offspring, Bilam, says, "Ma tovu olecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Israel." It's so nice, the house of Yaakov. Okay, one is not looking over the other house, what's happening over there. Basically, when he said that, he wanted to break that. He wasn't able, but he wanted to break it. Yeah, this is what Lavan was doing. Lavan said, I want to blur, okay, the house of Israel. He was trying to persuade Yaakov to stay in the Galut. And this was the biggest battle of Lavan against Yaakov. Yaakov wanted to get married to his daughter and to go away back to stay there for a few days, not for a long time, and then go back to his father's house. Lavan makes him stay. 7 years he works for this. Another 7 years he had to. And then when he is after this 14 years, he comes to him and says, "Let me go home now." He says, "No, please. There's such a big bracha here. Please stay. You know, the stock market will fall, and now we will lose. You will lose. Chaval, it's such a waste. It's really such a nice blessing over here. Let's continue." Yaakov wants to leave, and he keeps him, like holds him by the throat, doesn't let him leave, and wants him to stay more in the galut, not to go to his father's house. Okay, this was the plan of Lavan, to make Yaakov stay in the galut. How many years are we in the galut already? We say to ourselves, we'll wait for the kids to finish their college. We will wait to have another $1 million in the bank, to do another thing, and there's a lot of things that catch us, that hold us here, and we don't do this move to Israel. And this is because what was happening to Yaakov Avinu. He wanted them to assimilate among the Aramim, the Aram, this nation, not to be Jewish people anymore. Because once you stay in the Galut, you learn from their way, you become friendly, you become this, you assimilate, you associate with them. Okay? This is what he wanted. And you see why Lavan was worse than Paro. In World War II, the Nazis, Yimach Shmam, killed 6 million Jews. But you know something? After World War II, we lost more Jews to assimilation than the Nazis killed in World War II. So many millions of Jews are lost in the exile because of assimilation. And this is something that comes from Lavan Arami. So Lavan doesn't attack us physically. No, he doesn't. He attacks us spiritually. More than that. Yaakov wanted to build a family, and he knows that Rachel is Bashet. What is Lavan doing? He's putting Rachel instead, Leah instead, purposely. and what did he do? What did he plan to do? He wanted to incite, to instigate one on the other. He wanted Rachel and Leah to fight. This is my husband. No, this is my husband. How dare you? I came here first. No, you came first. That's what he wanted to happen. And once there's a lot of fight in the house, okay, whenever there's no unity, whenever they are divided, they are separated, this is when he can win them. This is when they're in his pocket and he can overcome them. And Rachel and Leah, Rachel especially, didn't let it happen. She kept quiet. She didn't say anything. She let things happen. Yaakov saw it, married Rachel too. He could have divorced Leah. He could have. He understood that this is his mission from heaven. He doesn't understand why, but he needs to have both of them. And this is how all the tribes are coming to the world. I'll tell you another thing. Lavan is the one that caused all the hatred in Am Yisrael. What was Lavan's plan? To bring Leah first before Rachel. And what happens when Leah is married to Rachel? You know, when Yaakov he got married, every action that he does in spirituality, he has so much meanings into it, not only for that moment, for generations later even. So he wanted to confuse him at the time of the wedding, time of the chuppah. Okay? Once he confused him in the time of the chuppah, he thought, okay, I got him, he's in my pocket. But then he continued on with this. So Leah got married to Yaakov first. You know, Yosef was the first one, was supposed to be the Bechor. He was supposed to be the first one that comes to the world if Yaakov would marry Rachel. But he gave him Leah. So Reuven came to the world first. And now, because initially Yosef was supposed to be the Bechor, and if Yosef is the Bechor, so they understand why Yaakov loves so much Yosef, because he's the Bechor, he's the firstborn. And the firstborn usually gets all the rights. He gets double than everyone, he gets a special Joma, he gets a special treatment, he's the firstborn. But what happened? Reuven was born first, and then Shimon, and then Levi, and then Yehuda. Yosef was Ben Azkunim, was one of the last one, and Yaakov liked him so much because he looked like him, and he came from Rachel, and for whatever other reasons that were there.
So Yosef wasn't the first one?
No.
The last.
The one before the last one before Binyamin.
Yeah.
When she gave birth to Binyamin, Rachel passed away, time of labor. So Yosef was born. He was outstanding in his beauty, in his wisdom, and Yaakov gave all whatever he had, all whatever he learned in the yeshiva of Shem ve'Ever, and whatever he learned from his father, he taught it to Yosef. And so the brothers were jealous, and they started to hate him. And this is why he was sold to Egypt. And this is why all the Jewish people came to Egypt, because of hatred. And all this could have been prevented if Rachel would get married to Yaakov first. See what did Lavan to the Jewish nation? This is why they say he wanted Yaakov, Lavan ביקש לעקור את הכל, to confuse Yaakov in his thought and in all his actions, and to confuse. The rabbi says something interesting. Yaakov, he had a herd of sheep, נכון? The מקובלים say that all the neshamot of the Jewish people were in this sheep.
Wow.
And Lavan wanted to confuse him in there, and he wanted them basically not to be able to survive in the galut. And Yaakov then was able to overcome this. The proof is to all what I say. Think about this: how many Jews were redeemed from Mitzrayim? You know, only 20%. 80% died there. These were the people that he was able to take to this Lavan. So we see that Yaakov didn't let it happen. What bothered Lavan so much? That Yaakov wants his spirit to be free. He couldn't control his spirit. He constantly tells him, "Nechsafti, I want to go so much to my father's house. I want to live in the lifestyle of my father. I want to go there to Israel, not to live here among you people." So all the troubles that came upon Yaakov think about this. He had a lot of troubles. His brother is chasing after him, wants to kill him, right? He leaves everything. He leaves his parents behind. He goes to an exile, to a different place. He stays there. His father-in-law is this weird person that tries to control over him again and again. And then he has this problem, he had that problem, he had so many things. We will see later on how he continues to suffer, but he doesn't let it despair him. He doesn't let him crush him, or he doesn't give in, okay? He continues fighting, and this is what happened. We see we say Maaseh Avot Siman Lebanim. The same way that the parents, our patriarchs, they suffered, so we see that it happens to the children. Yaakov was see, every place that the Jews are in exile, the non-Jews want them to come because they bring a lot of blessing to the place. For example, we were in the Spain Inquisition about 500 years ago. It used to be called Torah Zahal. It was a golden time when Spain enjoyed from the Jews. Not only the Jews were very, very wealthy at that time, but Spain enjoyed from the Jews. But then they felt that they take advantage of them, or they prevent from them money or something, and they decided that they don't need them any longer. You know what happened to the state? Became poor again. Because that's what happened in Russia, that's what happened in any place that the Jews are, basically. After a while, they become anti-Semitic because they feel that the Jews, they take their own money, they take their own belongings and whatever. And so when Yaakov saw that panav shel Lavan enam kitmol shilshom, he looks at him differently. He looks at him in a strange way, not happy now. He thinks that Yaakov now takes advantage of him. Yaakov became very wealthy, and he believed Lavan that everything is from him. Okay, didn't know that Hashem was with him. Think about this. Lavan, the rabbis, the Kabbalistic rabbis say that our patriarchs, they have a special blessing. It's called Bakol Mikol Kol. It says Vashem berachat Avraham Bakol. Hashem blessed Avraham with everything. Bakol, it has a lot of meanings. It says about Yitzchak, Va'ochal Mikol. I want to bless you. I'll eat from all whatever you bring me. Va'ochal Mikol. And it says about Yaakov, Hashem Natan li Mikol. He tells to Esav, I have everything. Yesh li kol, he says. What does it mean, Bakol Mikol Kol? Bakol Mikol Kol means that Hashem gave to the patriarchs the taste of Olam Haba in this world. And you know what Lavan wanted to do? Lavan bikesh la'akor et hakol. Wanted to take this call from Am Yisrael. Wanted to fill them. How he wanted to fill them? Who represents Midat HaYesod in Am Yisrael, you know? Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik was able to overcome his desire, and he represents Midat HaYesod. Bakol Mikol Kol Hazeh, this represents Midat HaYesod, the ability to influence, okay, to the others. And the Midat HaYesod is something that connects between the worlds, Olam Hazeh or Olam Haba, between the worlds. And whenever there's a connection, so there's abundance. Whenever there's no connection, there's no abundance. And that's what Lavan wanted to do. He wanted to disconnect the worlds. He wanted Yaakov not to have Bakol Mikol, this blessing, this special blessing, and not from the Jewish nation too. So Yosef, we say, represents Midat HaYesod. And he didn't want Jewish continuity because the Yesod connects. He didn't want Jewish continuity. See how much we have to learn from what Lavan was trying to do to the Jewish nation. Our strength is our unity. Our strength is when we're together.
And
but when
kedusha.
we are divided,
and kedusha של
and,
יסוד.
and when we are divided, this is when the enemies can overcome us. Eventually we see that that Lavan was defeated. Because, first of all, Yaakov didn't answer the cunning ways of Lavan in a cunning way too. Yaakov could deceive him too. So many ways he could deceive him. But he didn't act to him like he acted to him. He was straight with him. We see that previous Pasha, Yaakov took the blessings from Esav in a deceiving way. But now he wants to do tshuva. Now he wants to do straight, even though his father-in-law is a big cheater. He wants to go straight. He wants to teach him that this is not the only way to succeed in the world. Lavan tells him, you have to outsmart the system. If you don't outsmart the system, you have no success. You have to be over smart. You have to manipulate. You have to be a swindler. You have to lie. You have to cheat. This is the only way to survive. Yaakov tells him, no, you don't have to do these things. If Hashem is above you, if Hashem gives you the blessing, you could do without all this too. And Bemet, he saw that Yaakov succeeds because Hashem was with him. So this is something that we see now. I told you before that Lavan wanted to possess Yaakov and his children to him, so that they would stay in Haran. They stay in the Galut and they don't go to Israel. They don't make aliyah. They don't go and become elevated in spirituality. Let them stay in the exile. Let them assimilate. Let them become like us. And when Yaakov wanted to run away already, he didn't have a choice. He had to run away from his father-in-law. Lavan tells him, what are you planning to do? Your daughters are my daughters. All your money is mine. Everything is mine, 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 mine. This is what he tells him. What does his offspring, Bil'am, I told you before, what does his offspring say about this issue? When he sees the Jewish people, he says, Ki merosh tzurim er'enu u'migvaot ashurenu. Tzurim is the mountains. And Gvaot are the hills. He relates the Jewish nation to the mountains and to the hills. Mountains are our patriarchs, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. The hills are our mothers, our matriarchs, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. The Jewish people belong to Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, not to Lavan, not to other nations, only to these people. He himself admitted eventually. So, again, what do we see? Before Rosh Hashanah, or the whole past year, the Jewish people in Israel were so much divided. They were fighting like cats and dogs about everything, okay? About the reform they wanted to do in their judicial system, about this, about everything. They started to go against Jews, even against religious, even though religious people didn't do anything to them. They decided to do the demonstration inside Bnei Brak, inside, where Jewish people live. Didn't let them to pray on Yom Kippur publicly, They prepared 1,000 seats like they used to do every year. This time they didn't let it happen, and all kind of stupid fights that they had. You know what the Hamas admitted? That they came to fight against Israel because they saw that they are so divided. Because they didn't believe that they will get united now, afterwards. Some of the people in the military that, in the army, they said, we're not going to fight, we don't believe.
The Air Force.
At the Air Force, right. So now they saw that they all got united. Because that's what happens in Judah, in the Jewish nation. Whenever other people try to fight against us, this is when we have the strength to get together. What do we see? We see that during these days, so many people had to evacuate from the south of Israel and from the north of Israel. Who takes them? Where do they go? They go to some hotels, but a lot of families they host them. They prepare thousands and thousands of boxes of food and all kind of products to these people, whether it's cereals, whether it's diapers, whether it's all kind of products that they prepare. Food for the soldiers, food for the needies, these people that were evacuated from the places. They donate blood. Hatzalah does so much. Everything is donation. They don't take money for that. Zaka, the people who work with the dead people, how they're working. They create all kind of initiative, interesting things. Free rides for the chayalim, free food for here, free this for the. Why? They're trying so much to help, to care, to be there for other people, and it doesn't matter now if you're left wing or if you're right wing, if you're dati, if you're chiloni, if you're charedi, if you're this extremist or that extremist. Hamas didn't care. Hamas killed all of them. Even the most left wing people they killed in a very, very brutal way.
The majority were left.
Nachon. So if they didn't care, why should we? We should embrace each other. We should care for one another. Okay? This is what we learn, unfortunately, in times of war. And I don't have to tell you the hundreds of stories of people who helped other people, in the kibbutzim down there. When they saw what's happening, they left everything behind and went to help. They put their life in risk, and some of them died because of that. But they didn't care. They went to help the brothers in need, to help, to save, to do whatever needed to be done. Okay, soldiers put their life in risk now, for the Jewish people, because they see that they see that it's a very, very important thing. So that's what I'm trying to. This is my message today. We have to be together. We cannot let these things divide us. If we're together, no one can win us. Our strength is our unity. ובעזרת השם, ביחד ננצח, עם ישראל חי, ובעזרת השם, עם הנצח לעולם ינצח. שיהיה בשורות טובות לכולם, אמן, שיחזרו כל השבויים הביתה לשלום, וכל החיילים, וכל עם ישראל, השם ישמור על כולם. Thank you so much, God bless you.